The single unswerving goal of the political left should be to establish class solidarity amongst workers, and yet the working class is continually and reliably splintered by social issues, some of which result from those in power manipulating media narratives and sowing seeds of division. r/antiwork, a subreddit with almost 2 million members, is a place for anti-capitalists to commiserate about work. With inequality and inflation skyrocketing and union participation declining, this subreddit has thrived. r/antiwork may even be having a real-world offline impact. The Bureau of Labor Statistics has tracked how many people quit their jobs each month since the year 2000. And in September 2021, a record 4.4 million Americans quit their jobs, almost 3% of the workforce. Another 4.2 million quit in October and 4.5 million in November, another record. Despite economic uncertainty and the increasing costs of food, transportation, and housing, people are still quitting their unsatisfying jobs in search of more rewarding work. r/antiwork has been attributed as a significant cause of this historic exodus from the labor force. Another of the sub's notable actions is an attack on the company Kellogg's. Reddit users spammed Kellogg's online application system when the company was trying to hire replacements for striking workers in December. This gathering strength, which is challenging the status quo, has led some to speculate that there could arise inorganic outsider attempts, known as astroturfing, to sow division within the group and destroy the solidarity. Reddit is anonymous. It's run by power users, its rules are opaque and arbitrarily applied, and it's full of bots. So although there are genuine people on Reddit, there is definitely an opportunity for narratives to be forced by interested players. A post was made recently entitled, "You can't be anti-work and anti-sex work." In other words, if you're anti-work, you must be pro-sex work. The post claimed to be a response to misogyny elsewhere on the sub, but was really apropos of nothing. It stated, "Sex work is work, and we stand with workers. Whatever reasons they may have for choosing that path, it is not our place to judge." From my understanding, this sub was dedicated to fighting for the rights of all workers and fighting to prevent the exploitation of said workers. At the time of writing, the post has 12,000 upvotes and dozens of awards. Why does this post exist? What does it accomplish? Why should it need to be stated that leftists support prostituted women? What is the point of a post like this if not to get people to argue, to sow seeds of division? It smells like sabotage to me. The reason this post sows division is because on this issue, the left is split. One side are people like the 12,000 upvoters here who support the idea that sex work is work. And on the other side are those who want to abolish prostitution and pornography. The sex work is work side sees the avenue to supporting prostituted women as legitimizing prostitution and pornography, expanding and regulating marketplaces for these activities, and legalizing pimping and solicitation. On the other hand are those who want to go after traffickers and pimps, shut down online marketplaces, provide resources and rehabilitation for women exiting the trade, and on a larger scale, dismantle the idea that women's bodies are just another commodity. So although everyone agrees on a fundamental level that we should support these women, there is an ideological split on how to do that. And in this ideological battle, one side, the pro-sex work side, is falsely portraying the other side as conservative prudes who villainize exploited women. Assessing exploited women accurately as victims of awful circumstances And wanting to relieve their oppression and prevent more women from entering the trade is not the same as passing moral judgment against them. No one is saying these women are bad or wrong. No one is saying that. Prostitution and pornography are intrinsically exploitative, oppressive in nature to a degree that goes way beyond any other job. Claiming this is just like any other kind of work is absurd. These women are overwhelmingly coerced, financially desperate, and voiceless. The very few women speaking up on the pro-sex work side say they speak for all women in prostitution, but they represent a small minority who dubiously claim to choose this career as a path to empowerment. These women speak over the women who truly have no choice. A U.S. State Department report claimed that the vast majority of women in prostitution don't want to be there. Few seek it out or choose it, and most are desperate to leave. A study in the Journal of Trauma Practice found that 89% of women in prostitution want to escape. And it's not only women, but many children who are also stuck in this horrifying reality. Speaking of, what if we take the title of the post and change it a bit? You can't be anti-work and anti-child labor. To compare prostitution to child labor is not to infantilize the women stuck in this trade, but instead to compare two inherently exploitative and sometimes overlapping practices. The people of anti-work argue that all work under capitalism is exploitative, but to do so is to minimize the unique suffering these victims endure. Prostitution is the occupation by far most likely to result in injury and death. Many victims endure brain trauma. Half are afflicted with serious mental illness, including major depression and anxiety. 68% of those who escape suffer from PTSD, more than double the rate of combat soldiers who fought in Iraq and Afghanistan. Drug and alcohol addiction is rampant, as is the violence of beatings perpetrated by pimps, traffickers, and clients. And even if you don't believe that all paid sex is coerced, the threat of outright rape is a constant reality. On top of that, it's wrong to think that regulation would eliminate exposure to STDs and pregnancy, which are risks associated with no other job. It's perfectly legitimate for leftists to say, women in prostitution, we support you. We want you to be healthy and happy and actualized. If that means, as it does for virtually all, escaping and abolishing this horrible trade, we will support you in that. It is not acceptable for people who claim to be critical of all forms of labor to make an exception for this one and say, hey, we're against work, but we're going to support the legitimizing of this one most exploitative form. To say sex work is to echo the advertising slogan trotted out by those who favor legislation that benefits traffickers and pimps. To say sex work is to use a pacifying mantra that minimizes the pain and suffering of exploited women. And pointing this out doesn't make one conservative, a pearl clutcher, or a capitalist. Whether this incident is astroturfing meant to sow division or an organic post representative of the ethos of the subreddit, I will leave that to you. Solidarity amongst the working classes is needed now more than ever, but that solidarity shouldn't come on the backs of women. As with other ideological issues, the left needs to get on the same page when it comes to the exploitation of women.